1992 to two loving but very different parents. My mom was born in York, England, but ended up moving to Buckinghamshire when she was just 2 years old. My dad was born in upstate New York in Albany. He ended up studying in England for his PhD, where he met my mom. He convinced her to come back to the United States with him, where she got her master's and he got his PhD, both at the University of New Mexico, where my dad was teaching. My brother was born in 1990, shortly before they moved up to Oregon and had me. In late elementary school, my parents decided it would be a good idea to apply for dual citizenship for my brother and I. This would mean transit between the two countries would be easier and quicker. It also meant that when I applied for school in England, I didn't have to apply as an exchange student. In 8th grade, I studied abroad in England, and for the first time in my life, I felt like a complete foreigner. I was surrounded by British students and felt alienated by how American I was. And yet when I came home after just a year, I felt foreign again. My friends treated me as if I'd shed my Americanness while I was away. This led to an awkward phase in high school where I didn't quite relate to either culture. It struck me while we were reading on beauty that Levi was in a similar position. He didn't quite fit into the ghetto life he aspired to, but also didn't feel as though he could relate to the upper middle class lifestyle his family had adopted. Similarly, I was in a position where I couldn't relate to either culture as much as I wanted to. When I took this class, I began to consider some new ideas. As we started into the wild, we had many class discussions on the British versus the American view on nature. We talked a lot about how the American view on nature seemed to encourage us to go out and explore and to conquer the wilderness, whereas the British didn't seem to relate to nature in the same way. I began to realize that I was a product of both cultures. I realized there were times I better related to one culture over the other. For example, I lived on a farm in England that had been passed down from generation to generation. The idea of home had been discussed in class and with our British peers, and how it differed from culture to culture. I finally realized there were elements of both cultures that I related to. It wasn't one or the other. It wasn't necessary to choose either or. The combination of the two cultures was what made me who I am.